To make this simple wing compass, I will use this 3 cm thick strip. And I mark a 7 by 5 cm rectangle. Now with the jigsaw table, first I rip cut. And now I cross cut so I get the rectangle I need. This is the wooden rod I will use. It is 15 mm in diameter. First I make a mark at 50 cm from the end of the rod. And I cut it. Now I will use this 16 mm spade bit. I'd rather like to use a 15 mm bit, but I don't have one. I draw a line along the middle of the wooden rectangle. I mark the center of that line. And I drill right in that mark. I drill to the other side of my workpiece, so I put that piece of wood under it, to avoid tear out. So now the wooden rod enters too loose in that hole. Later, following the line I've drawn before, I will cut the rectangle in two, and then I will use two screws to attach both parts together. So first I will drill the guide holes. I will use this drill bit. It is some thicker than the screw, but I will drill only until I reach the line. I set the depth I will drill to. I mark the points where I want to drill, and I drill both holes. Now to finish these guide holes, I will use a thinner drill bit. It has the same diameter as the screw axis without the thread. And I can use the cordless drill to keep drilling the guide holes. Now I will drill the hole for the pencil. This drill bit and the pencil are both 8 mm in diameter. I will drill the rod and then I will drive one screw. But if the screw follows the grain direction, it will probably split the wood. So I will drill following the grain direction. So when I drive the screw, it will be at 90 degrees with the grain direction. I will drill at 2 cm from the end of the rod. And I have a piece of wood under the rod to avoid tear out. The pencil fits too tight, so I could probably use it like this. But anyway, I will put one screw to clamp it harder. But first I cut the wooden rectangle in two. Nothing happens if I release the workpiece when I cut. Anyway, I wear my safety goggles. Now I make a cut that goes some millimeters beyond the hole. Now I will drill a shallow hole inside the rectangle, right there. I use an 8 mm drill bit, and I drill a shallow hole so the head of the screw I will put there sits below the surface. Now I will use the thin drill bit to drill the guide hole. I will drive this screw here. It will be the pivot pin. The head must be below the wood surface. Otherwise it will graze the wooden rod. Now I will use the same thin drill bit to drill a guide hole in the end of the rod. Now I use a 4 mm drill bit to enlarge the guide hole, but just until I reach the cut I made before. I didn't set the depth stop, so I must be careful so I don't drill beyond the cut. I only drill until I reach the cut. I will drive this 15 mm long screw there. When I drive the screw, it closes the slot and the tip protrudes the other side. So I file the tip of the screw. I put the pencil there, with the tip of the pencil and the tip of the pivot pin at the same level. Now when I tighten the screw, the rod clamps hard the pencil. so it won't move. And the screw didn't split the wood. Now I can put both pieces of the wooden rectangle around the wooden rod. At first I was going to use these screws. Then I tried these ones, but finally I realized I should use these 4.5 cm long screws to attach hard both parts together. So I will use a 5 mm drill bit to enlarge the top half of both guide holes. Now the screws go loose in these holes, so I won't have problems to press one part against the other. Like this I still can move the block along the rod. But now if I tighten the screws, I cannot move the block. I loosen the screws so I can move the block. And I set the distance I need between the tip of the pencil and the tip of the pivot pin. I tighten the screws and I draw the circle. I don't know why, but when I take a compass, I always need to draw a lot of circles. This is the smallest circle I can draw with this big compass. It is 2 cm in diameter. Thanks for watching. You can find all my videos in my channel in YouTube. And if you like my videos, thanks for subscribing to my channel.